Chair recognizes Mr. Jason Isaac for his 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, again, I'm Jason Isaac. I'm the director of Life Powered, a national initiative of the Texas Public Policy Foundation to raise America's energy IQ. And I live a high carbon lifestyle. And I think the rest of the world should too. It's truly where you have human flourishing. Look back to 2019 and then candidate for president, the first ever candidate on the face of the earth to run as a net zero candidate, ran and was elected as president of Sri Lanka. In 2020, he began his efforts to decarbonize. At the time, Sri Lanka was a near perfect ESG rated country, 98 out of 100, one of the highest ESG rated countries on the face of the earth. And he began to implement his ESG policies, which might be better known as everyone's suffering guaranteed, or what it does to energy and food, makes it expensive, scarce, and government controlled. But in 2020, he made his push towards net zero and pushed it onto the people of Sri Lanka that were once prospering, that were actually exporting food and other commodities around the world, lifting them up to prosperity for the first time in their existence. And he banned the use and importation of nitrogen-based fertilizers. That resulted in a 40% decrease in food production, an 80% increase in cost. And today, 9 in 10 families in Sri Lanka are facing hunger every single day, making energy and food expensive, scarce, and government controlled. Now, in 2019, shortly after I joined the foundation, I was visiting with some energy producers, and they were telling me stories about how they were having trouble getting access to capital because they produce oil and gas. And I thought, no, this can't be the case. Not in America. We produce energy more responsibly than anywhere else on the face of the earth. Why would we want to shift production away from the United States into places that have lax environmental controls or human rights standards? Certainly, we wouldn't want to do that. But as I dove into this and started visiting with more and more energy producers that were being kneecapped, having their energy resources taken away from them, I thought we need to write some policy in the state of Texas. And so in 2020, I began writing and drafting a bill that ultimately became Senate Bill 13 that says if you're going to boycott, divest, or sanction companies that produce energy in Texas, then you're no longer welcome to do business with the state of Texas, the 9th largest economy on the face of the earth. And that legislation passed with overwhelming, broad, bipartisan support in both the Texas House and the Texas Senate. They took America first. And today there are 11 financial institutions that are on the boycott list in the state of Texas, one of them being the largest financial institution on the face of the earth, BlackRock, who does invest in fossil fuels, who does invest in oil and gas, but forces companies to sell assets, much like Exxon. They replaced board members with activist board members that want to decarbonize a business that produces hydrocarbons. That's like defooding a restaurant. That doesn't work out too well for anyone, not the employees, not the consumers, not the owners, not the shareholders, no one. But yet they've done that. And Exxon sold assets in Southeast Asia where they were going to produce oil and gas, and I argue again, they would probably produce that oil and gas more responsibly than anywhere else on the face of the earth. And who do they sell it to? PetroChina. That's why I refer to the ESG agenda as the China ESG agenda. It does very little to help Americans. It does everything to help the Chinese Communist Party. And again, making energy expensive, scarce, and government controlled. And the numbers show that this ESG agenda, the China ESG agenda, has been extremely effective at cutting off capital for businesses here in the United States. From 2015 to 2021, look at the chart that I provided in my written testimony. There has been an 81% reduction in the number of funds that provide private capital raised for oil and gas exploration in this country. A 94% reduction in dollars raised for oil and gas production. This is just making energy more expensive, not only here in the United States, but around the world. Expensive energy hurts the poor. And today, this energy-driven inflation caused by ESG and other factors, demonization of hydrocarbons, is leading to an increasing number of Americans getting their utilities disconnected, as Mandy pointed out. Electricity disconnects have increased 30%. Natural gas cutoffs have soared 76%. And globally, 345 million people are on the brink of starvation. The China ESG agenda isn't about emissions or pollutions. It's about control. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. Look forward for your questions.
Thank you.